Greetings everyone. In this tutorial we are going to see that how we can install PyTorch, TensorFlow, CUDA and cuDNN version. Sometime in Ubuntu it become difficult to install these packages because of the compatibility issue. The Ubuntu on which I am going to install is a fresh install and it's 20.04 version. So let's start to figure out which version of TensorFlow, PyTorch, CUDA and cuDNN we have to install. For your information, this is a RTX 3070 Ti GPU. So you can use this instruction on any RTX 30XX series like 3090 or 3080 or even 3060. So let's start with the version checking. In TensorFlow, the CUDA version support is 11.2, the latest one, and in PyTorch, the latest support is 11.3. PyTorch doesn't support 11.2 fully, and TensorFlow doesn't support 11.3. So we have to get a CUDA version which is supported by both PyTorch and TensorFlow. So I will use 11.0. It is supported by both PyTorch and TensorFlow, and for that we have to install TensorFlow 2.4.0, and for PyTorch we have to go to previous version of PyTorch from here, and we can see that 11.0 is supported by PyTorch 1.7.1, I believe. Yes. So the next thing is that which version of cuDNN we have to install. Okay, for that first you have to go to cuDNN download section, and from that section you have to first thing is that you have to log into this website. When you have to go to this cuDNN download section, you have to go to archive cuDNN release. You have to go down and see the 11.0 support, which is actually version 8.0.5. so from there you have to pick it for Linux because it's a Ubuntu, so we have to pick the right version. Then this will be downloaded. As I have already downloaded it, I will not download it again, and it's around 1 GB of size. The next thing I have to install is CUDA toolkit. The latest is around CUDA 11.5, but we have to get a previous version of that. So we will go to archive previous CUDA release, and from there we can download CUDA toolkit 11.0, which is released on August 2020. So this is when you click on this link, you will go to that web page. From that you have to select Linux. From Linux you have to select this, and then you have to choose Ubuntu. From Ubuntu you have to choose your Ubuntu version. In my case it is 20.04. Then I have to click on run local file. This will download the command. wget will download the command, but in my case it's already been downloaded, so I have to just run this sudo sh. So let's it's in my download folder. There is my download folder. Let me open the terminal. Before showing you that, I have to want to show you one thing, that is nvidia-smi. Okay, I misspelled it. It's the installed version of driver is 470.86. Actually, when we install Ubuntu, we can also install its drivers. If in case it's not installed in your driver, if the NVIDIA driver is not installed, you can go to this additional driver, and from this additional driver you can install the NVIDIA version, which is actually this one, the first one, which is proprietary and tested. So you can install that. In my case it's already installed, so I will not install it again. So let me install CUDA toolkit here. It will take some time to install, and it will ask for some instruction. Let me show you that what instruction it will ask for. Meanwhile, we can open how to install cuDNN in our system. Okay, we will use this instruction as we have already downloaded the tar file. We will untar it and then we will use the commands to install it. These are some of the instructions to install CUDA files. Sorry, cuDNN files. Okay, this is the page we got after we install the CUDA toolkit, and let me click on continue. Okay, it says that failed to verify GCC version. So first I have to install GCC version. Let's Google it how to install GCC in Ubuntu. So it's easy thing. We have to first install GCC. So we can install it by using this one. So let's first update our packages. It will also take some time. I hope not too much. Then I have to install this command. Let me open our notepad and write this command so you can copy it and paste it as it is. Okay, let me do this command, and then I have to check the GCC version to figure out whether it has been installed or not. Okay, the GCC has not been installed with. Look like I have made some mistake. Let me try this one. Okay, let's check that if GCC version has been installed. This has been installed by using basically this command, where it has been. Let me copy this and paste it in my notepad. Okay, so our GCC has been installed. The next thing we have to install the CUDA toolkit. So let's go back to our command, which is this one, and see if it gives some error this time, or it's fine. It will also take some time to install that. Maybe in that time I can pause the video. Here is the screen again. Let me click on continue to see if it gives some error this time. It say, do you accept the above? Accept. And okay, here it see that if I want to install driver again, in my case driver has been installed, so I will uncheck it. Okay, do you want to start CUDA samples? I don't want to install CUDA demo suite. I even don't need it. I just need CUDA toolkit. So let me click on install, and now it will take some time to install CUDA. Meanwhile, we can also install parallel the cuDNN version. So let me open a new terminal and go to the instructions of cuDNN. Okay, so first I have to untar the file, or that is what it unzip. So it's 11.03. tar minus xvf, then cuDNN. It will untar the files. Meanwhile, it untars the file. Let's go back to the CUDA toolkit where we are installing CUDA and see what is the status of that. It's asking us to add the path. So let me open a guide here, which is basically I used it for the installation purpose before. So first we have to open a bashrc file, and from bashrc file we can use this path. But before bashrc, let me check that if the files are added or not. So we can see that our path has been generated. So next, just run the bashrc file. I think it would not be in desktop, maybe, I don't know. Yeah, let's go to the root again. At the end of this, I have to append these two files. Meantime, we can check that whether the cuDNN has been untarred or not. We open a new terminal and go to download folder. Now we are in the download folder where our CUDA folder is present. We have extracted it from this command, and now we have to path, and now we have to copy its files from this folder to the CUDA file which we have already created. So let's show that if that CUDA file is created. Let's go to cd user local, and if we ls that, we can see that CUDA folder is present, and in CUDA folder there is another folder called include. We have to move all that file to this folder. So let me go back and go to downloads again. Oh, I'm misspelling it again and again. Okay. Now I have to do sudo cp CUDA include cuDNN .h, cuDNN static.h. What it will do, it will move all the files with the extension .h into the folder. So let me display that folder again. Okay, ls, so I'm writing the correct path, ls CUDA include. Okay, from the include folder of the CUDA folder, I have to move all cuDNN folder file which end with static.h. Let me include. Okay, I have to move all these files into the folder, like, okay. So let me do this by, now next path is correct. Okay, no such file or directory even exists. Include Let me move all these files. Oh, I have a syntax error basically. There is no slash here. Okay, these files are moved. Next, I have to move the files from lib folder. Sudo cp -p CUDA libcudnn. Okay, I can copy from here. No file exists. CUDA libcudnn. Okay, it's lib64 basically. So all these files have been moved. Now I have to change the permission of this path. Okay, now I can try nvcc test version to check. Okay, to that CUDA is installed. I have shown you how to install CUDA and cuDNN, and how we can check is that using nvcc test version. If this command gives you output, it means that your CUDA and cuDNN things have been installed. So if give you error, it means that they are not installed. Okay, as it's showing that 11.0 installed, so it means that our CUDA compilation tools has been installed. In the next version, we are going to install TensorFlow and PyTorch. For that, we have to create a virtual environment. This is my preference. You can go without virtual environment. So first, I have to install the pip to install the virtual environment and TensorFlow PyTorch versions. Similarly, maybe I believe we have to install the virtual environment. So first we have to install pip, then we have to install the virtual environment, I believe. Once these two things have been installed, we can create a virtual environment by python 3-m virtual environment. The first command is actually your virtual environment command. The second command is the name of the virtual environment. You can name it as you want. So it gives an error that we have installed. Actually, we have to do this way, I believe. Okay, and for we have to first use sudo root. Okay, when you are outside of the virtual environment, you have to take care of that which Python version you have installed, such as if you have installed Python 3.7, then you have to write Python 3.7. If you are in virtual environment, you don't need to write Python 3.7. You can just write Python, and I hope that works in Python. Okay, so let's activate our virtual environment. Source venv pin activate. Okay, activate. Okay, so let's suppose we have installed virtual environment, but we haven't created it yet, I believe. Okay, this has created our virtual environment. Now we can activate it. So our virtual environment has been activated. You can show it here. Let me copy these commands and put it in our document. The next command is basically create a virtual environment, and the next is to activate the virtual environment. Okay, now I have to go to install basically TensorFlow, which can be installed pip install TensorFlow equal to 2.4.0. basically, as we have seen in part 1, that we have to install TensorFlow 2.4.0. so it will take some time to install, to download. Meanwhile, I can just wait. The TensorFlow has been downloaded, and now it is being installed. So let wait for a while so that it can be installed. So actually we got an error of wheel. First, actually we have to first upgrade our wheel, our pip package, and our setup. So we forget to do that, but I don't think that can cause an issue. So let me check that if TensorFlow has been installed and whether it's picking GPU or not. For that, first we have to import TensorFlow at TF. Okay, then we have to print basically the GPU device. Okay, it's saying that number of GPU available is 1, so it has been picked GPUs. So next part is to install PyTorch. For PyTorch, there are multiple version available, but we have to install that one, the support CUDA 11.0, which is actually Torch 1.7.1. So let me do that. It will also take some time to download, so that I can pause this video for that time. The PyTorch has been downloaded. Now it will take some time to install. Once it has been installed, we can check that whether it's picking GPU or not. Actually, in PyTorch, installation is not that much difficult as in TensorFlow. PyTorch is more easy to install as compared to TensorFlow, and my preference is to use PyTorch when I'm doing experimentation. I only use TensorFlow with Keras because that's an easy wrapper of TensorFlow. But when I have to deal with complex issues and I have to load custom data set, then PyTorch is a good choice. So PyTorch has been installed. Now I can try to check whether TensorFlow is Torch is picking GPU or not. So let's copy this command from here and paste it here and check if CUDA is available and check which device of CUDA is available. So it's NVIDIA G4 RTX 3070 Ti. This is the end of the tutorial. Hope you will like it. Thank you.